And this is why we check, because I did not have sound that whole time. That's why I always run the audio test, because that whole time I did not have sound. Alright, so this is exactly why. That whole time I was talking, I had literally no sound. It's crazy. I'm sitting there talking up a storm, testing out. I'm like, okay, how do I sound? No sound at all. I'm like, wait, why don't I hear anything? Oh, that's why you don't hear anything, because there's nothing there. All right, so welcome, guys. Welcome, girls. Welcome, nerds and nerdettes. I'm going to take these headphones out. I think my audio is pretty good. I'm pretty close to the microphone, so I don't hear my computer fan. Let me stop talking. Let me see if I can hear my computer fan. Hold on, bear with me, guys. I'm going to stop talking for just a second. I know I can never stop talking, but I'm going to try to stop talking. So here it is, right here. I'm going to stop talking. I guess I hear my computer fan. The problem is I hear it in real life, so I don't know if I'm hearing it in real life or if I'm hearing it in my own headphones. But that's okay. I'm going to take these headphones out and we're going to get started. So let me get these out of my ear. Headphones, but that's okay. All right, that's all out. So welcome. This is our live stream. So I'm going to count us in, and we are starting officially in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ahoy Maloy! Welcome to the Saw X review live stream. I'm Decipher, and I'm going to just tell you, I just got finished seeing Saw X, and I have thoughts. I just saw Saw, and I just want to tell y'all how I felt about this film. Okay, so let's get to typing. We got our handy dandy notepad. I've been watching some Blue's Clues with the little one, so just bear with me on that. So this is the Saw. Oh, and if you haven't watched one of these before, this is the unedited raw review. So I'm just gonna talk to you guys open and honestly. It's gonna be very raw, non-scripted, and just put myself out there. The edited versions of those reviews hopefully will come later, but right now my editor has been pretty busy because he has a birthday he's planning. And if you don't know, because you don't watch enough of these videos, my editor is myself, and I'm planning my kid's birthday party. So I've been busy, and then I'm backed up on videos too. So I'm just like, hey, can I get some live streams out for you guys? So that's the story. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, as my mama would tell me. All right, so this is their Saw X, and I'm gonna be typing and spelling words wrong. I do not apologize for that, because I'm just using Notepad, and Notepad does not have autocorrect, so bear with me. You're just mostly just listening to the soothing sounds of my voice. Now let's start. Saw X review. It's really Saw 10 review, and if you've watched one of these before, then you know there's a special thanks category. Special thanks. So anybody that goes into the chat and just says anything, I don't care if you say like hi or this sucks, spelled that wrong too. My keys are just very clickety clackety. I just like touching them too. So whatever you type in there, I'm gonna add you in the special thanks category. It's like, hey, thanks for just dropping in and saying hi. So let me just put anybody who enters chat. Some words will be capitalized for no reason, but that's fine. And for a late night stream, we got some people on. We got you can't even see on the video because it's the white notepad, but we got 5 people. Oh no, 1 person just left. 4 people on YouTube and 1 person on Twitch. That's perfectly fine. Now up top, before we even get into the review, I like to do this fun game where we try to guess the budget and guess the box office. I usually already have those pre-pulled up, but this time I don't. I was working on another video, had some good things in the works. It's really tomorrow. I give you guys a little spoiler. I reached out to this dev. They sent me a code to check out their game, and I'm in the middle of doing their review. So I'm just backed up and having fun. But let's look up the Saw X budget. And before I even pull it up, I'ma just guess and say anywhere from 50 million, because that's a good price point, to 70 million, just in case. But these are, not to sound offensive, a bunch of no names. Like, there's nobody high on the, oh, I gotta pay this actor a lot, besides Tobin Bell, and he probably didn't ask for that much to come back. So 50 million is what I'm gonna say. Dang, this can't be accurate. Hold up. Let me read this. It says 13 million with the production budget reported at 13 million. Saw X looks sure to be a profitable film regardless of what happens next. I gotta get another source. Damn, that is, Wikipedia even says it too, and IMDb. What? All right, this is a record, folks. This is a record. And first of all, that shows, because I was going to not come at these actors, but these are some no-name actors I never heard of. So yeah, 13 million. This is the lowest film that I've seen a budget for. So the budget is 13 million. I put it in chat in case anybody's reading chat. Oh, you can't double click? Oh, I thought I could like do this little clicky thingy. Yeah, a budget of 13 million. This is my lowest film that I've seen a budget come in that lower. That's crazy. I mean, that's so smart. And again, these are the live streams, so I'm going to go off on a bunch of tangents. You guys are rocking out with me for the tangents. If I was to ever direct a film, it would, well, first of all, I'm more into superhero films, but I know the budgets on those are crazy, but it would definitely be like something low budget. I would, not want to do horror because I can't stand horror. Ask me why I reviewed a horror movie then. Anywho, but I would do something where it's low budget. I'm bringing on a bunch of no-name cheap actors. Like, you ain't never heard of these people. The only place you've seen them from is like a high school play. I'm bringing them on, giving them like $5,000. I'm gonna do an Ice Cube on the Friday. So if you ever heard of that movie, Friday is a movie with Ice Cube, Chris Tucker, Debo, it's not his name, and they did a movie, and he paid him like maybe $5,000 to be in that movie. That's what I'm doing. I'm getting this movie made cheap. So this movie's gonna make his money back regardless. Now let's see what its current box office is looking like. All right, so let's pull that up. I want current box office numbers. Let's see. Lionsgate had a successful opening weekend, earning 18 million domestically, 11 million internationally. The film's worldwide gross. Can't even get that word out. Okay, so here's the worldwide gross. If you didn't already add it while I was talking. All right, so it's at 29.3 million. So it's already made its budget back. So it has to make 26 million. So where we get that number from is it cost 13 million to make, and they probably spent about 13 million to market this film. So as long as it makes 26 million, it's at least made its money back. And now we're at 29 million, and that's pretty good. So it at least made its money back. Not a lot of millions, but it's still profitable enough. If they want to do a sequel, they know, hey, look, we got to pay these guys a couple $100,000, no millions, and we're going to get them done. All right, so let me pull up my list. I have my thoughts on the film. I'm just checking. Okay, yeah, chat. Nobody's in the chat. That's fine. Let me put the current box office in chat real fast, just in case somebody's reading chat. I don't think anybody is. Nobody's reading chat. All right, so where is that screen? All right, here we go. So this was no, I was just reading my questions that I asked myself before I write the review. All right, so let's talk about performances. So we have Tobin Bell. He played John Kramer. As you know, he died in, was it Saw 3? Saw 3 or 4, who cares at this point? I literally watched the recap just to remember, because the Saw timeline is convoluted. So this is a prequel. So I didn't come in thinking, oh, I wonder what's going to happen to him. I was just curious, and I was open-minded about the whole thing. I was just, hey, whatever happens, happens. I just want to see what happens. And I think he did good. This one, it came off as like how Equalizer 3 did, where it was focusing a lot on John Kramer, which is fine. The first act of the film, and I would say the first 2 acts, really, the first act and a half. So somewhere around the halfway mark of Act 2, that's when they flipped the switch and they said, okay, let's get back to the traps and the killing. But that beginning part of the movie was a lot of setup, even though that's more like pacing, that has nothing to do with the performances. But Tobin Bell as John Kramer did a good job. Then you have Salty. Oh man, almost dropped my coffee. Woo. that scared me. Shawnee Smith. I said Salty, and it was an artist. Anyway, you had Shawnee Smith as Amanda. She was fine. I never really cared for the Amanda character, and I'm not a fan of it. The villain of this, though, or one of the victims of this, again, another no name that I've never heard of, and I can't even pronounce the name. They got I wish I could pull it up on screen. It's Sinove Makodi Lund. Man, I can't even say that name, but it got an O with a line through it. Really cool name. She was good in it, though. She brought the goods. And then there's a special cameo that I will not talk about. I mean, just saying that there's a special cameo is like, ooh, who's the special cameo? But, yeah, special cameo. And again, my reviews, I try not to do no spoilers. So I feel like even saying that is a spoiler because then you watching the movie waiting for the special cameo. So I will say there may or may not be a special cameo, allegedly. So maybe you have something to look forward to, or maybe you don't. But that's as far as I got as far as performances, how everybody did. The no names were just, no. They were just no names. Again, not saying that I could be a better actor, but your boy out here acting. I'm an actor. I'm doing in one thing. Don't look it up. Don't look for it either. All right, plot of the movie. Here's the plot. Hero gets played. Hero wants to play a game. Bam. There you go. That's the plot in a nutshell. I thought the plot was fine. It was serviceable for what was going on. I liked it. I had no complaints about it. Were there any particular scenes that stood out to me as like either really good or really bad? There was a scene where somebody has to make a sacrifice, a fleshly sacrifice, and I thought it was just nasty. I was like, ugh, I don't like this. This movie was making me squirm more than Spiral did. I like Spiral better, but a lot of people didn't, because Spiral was, I guess, say less of a Saw movie and more of an investigative detective movie. Like, I'm gonna just say SVU because my wife's favorite show, but I like Saw. I mean, I like Spiral better because of that. With this movie was gross. This took me back to the torture porn, and I'm like, oh, I hate this. And let me tell you something. One reason why I saw this movie, because I really wanted to see tonight, A Haunting in Venice, because I like that. Give me that Hercule Poirot. But my producer was like, hey, you got to go for what movie's going to be hot right now. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go see Saw X, but so uncomfortable. Back to the pacing. So, like I said, the first act, I was going to say at first it was boring, but no, really, it was setting up for the second and third acts, and it paid off so well that I actually enjoyed it. So I was okay with the pacing of the film. Perfectly fine with it. It was almost teetering to the point where it's getting a little boring, but once we got into the second act and the third act, I was like, oh, here we go, let's go. All right, how did I feel about the movie's sound, like the soundtrack and the score? Let me tell you something. If you've seen Saw, if you see Saw scene, then you already know it's iconic. There's dun 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 dun. I'm probably doing a horrible rendition of it, but listen, y'all already know it's good. Obviously, it's nothing really I can say. That's good. Were there any like themes, deeper messages in this movie? I would say probably just don't be a dick. That's about it. Other than that, nothing that you could really read into. This was just, your popcorn horror flick. Barely even popcorn, because if you eat anything... there was one scene... Again, it's in the trailer, and I'm not looking at my trailer play, because I'm sitting there looking over my notes. Not this scene right here, where they... Oh, yeah, that scene right there. That scene right there on the screen, where the guy looking at... Oh, this scene right here. This scene... You see him? You see what he doing? This scene right here, I was ready... If I had a weaker stomach, I would have threw up. And I was ready to let it go. I was like, I know the people that work at the movie theater. Shout out to Eric and shout out to Tom. But I was ready to go. Eric, I'm sorry. I was ready to throw up right on the ground. I don't care. Because that scene was gross. I was like, ugh. And I had to keep telling myself, it's not real. It's just a movie. But I'm like, this is nasty. So that's how I felt. Let me see. How I feel about themes. Okay, how I feel about the movie's ending. The ending was fine. We had a nice third act twist, and I think it left the door open that if this movie performs well enough, we'll be able to get a sequel. The continuity is... So it's not that it's been destroyed or anything like that. It's just confusing. I would have to do a deep dive on Reddit or on YouTube to say, oh, what's the best order to watch all of these Saw movies? Because honestly, I really only saw Saw 1 and 2. I really only watched Saw 1 and 2, maybe 3. But I don't even know how we got up to 10. Are they counting Spiral? Spyro, Spyro the Dragon. Are they counting Spiral? Are they counting Jigsaw? I didn't see Jigsaw, by the way. It was just, I don't know what's going on with the thing. That's why I said this movie was enjoyable enough. I wonder what a hardcore fan would think of this movie. Oh shoot, I forgot to put all this stuff that I was just now saying into here. I mean, you guys are listening to me talk, so what does it matter? The next question, I'll put it in there and let you know. All right, so it says, would I recommend this movie? Here's my answer. I'd say no, because this movie was nasty. But if this is your, type of horror that you like, it's called torture porn, then definitely go for it. I remember as a kid watching the first Saw and the second one, and I was like, oh, this is gross, and I don't like this. And then another movie came out called Hostel, and Hostel was even worse. There was a scene in Hostel where you had to take out your eyeball. I was like, oh, no, this is nasty. This is nasty. No. I hate this movie. What are my overall thoughts and feelings about this movie? Here goes my answer to my overall thoughts and feelings. It was a good film, but it was hard to watch for my punk A. I cursed in my own notes, but I don't want to put that on there. I'm trying to keep everything all above board and stay monetized. How did the film make me feel emotionally? Did it provoke any strong feelings or emotions? Can you guys guess? Before I tell you what strong emotion I felt while watching this film, just guess. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it was disgust. Just disgust. Just, ugh, gross. Nasty. I was like, ugh. I was so happy. All right, so usually when I'm watching a movie, I turn my phone brightness all the way down, and then I got a Samsung, so it has an option for extra dim. Very nice in a movie theater setting, because other than that, it's pointless, but only in a movie theater. So Samsung always has those like useless one-off features. So I use that, and then I'm using Google Docs because it autocorrects. Well, sometimes, because this particular time it was doing not a great job. So usually I'm just staring at the screen and I'm having a hard time stopping looking to write down my notes. This time was so easy for me to look away. I was happy to not look at the screen, and I haven't had a film do that to me since Evil Dead 2011. Not Evil Dead Rise, but that reboot they had in 2011. The only time where I was like, okay, I gotta physically look away from the screen because it's so disgusting. The scene in Evil Dead, I'm saying 2011 with a lot of confidence, but it could have been 2013. It was probably 2011. So, you guys will know that are real movie buffs. The Evil Dead reboot that they had came out with the girl, I feel like they also did another one. I'm getting off on a tangent. So it was a scene where I think the black girl went into the mirror. She looked at herself in the mirror, and then I guess the demon possessed her. Whatever happened, she takes a knife. She breaks the glass in the mirror, and she puts it up to her cheek. Now, mind you, I just said 2011, so we're talking 10 years ago. So whatever age I am now, minus 10 years. Woo! I couldn't handle it. I was like, oh, I gotta leave. I can't see this. So I barely remember how that movie ends. Spoiler, I believe it ends with her getting a chainsaw hand, because I think I went and watched it later or at the same time. But again, sorry for the spoilers. Sorry for the just out of nowhere spoilers too. The movie's 10 years old. You had your chance to go see it, and if you didn't, you don't even know what I'm talking about. So I ain't even say the name of it. What I did, but don't worry about it. Yeah. So that's how I felt about the movie. Oh, all right. Here's the next one. Let me make sure I get this highlighted. Go down. All right. So some of the main things, like, okay, what stood out to me in the movie, such as like audio-visual stuff. So like whether that's camera angles, like if you watch my Evil Dead review, I think I talked about how they use like Dutch angles and stuff. This movie has some really interesting color grading that I hate, but it's very early 2000s. So I was noticing when he went to, again, no detail. I'm not giving you no details in the movie. I know the trailer's playing, that's giving me details, but when he went to somewhere, it was blue, like the color grading, so they had a blue filter, and then when he went somewhere else, it was yellow. That didn't stand out to me. That was just like, ew, why y'all doing this from like 2003, 2009? And the only reason it stands out in my head is because I'm doing a rewatch of House. By the way, comment below if you guys want me to talk about TV shows, because I have been watching some TV. I've watched The Endgame, Crapopolis, a lot more. And I know someone commented that they want to hear me talk about, what is that app they made me download and that I haven't been posted on? It is called Simkill, SIMKL list. I got to get on that. I still haven't figured out how that works. Simkill list, where I can just do my reviews on there so people can check those out too. Once I figure that out, I'll try to retroactively put all those reviews back on there. But anyway, so here are the things that stood out to me. So they had the sound effects on point. The sounds of like bones cracking and skin slicing. I know that says ski slicing, but you know, like I said, I'm just typing and doing a bad job at it. All that stuff, the sound effects were on point, and it just, tonight it's gonna live in my head rent free. After that, I'm not gonna think about it. I'm gonna completely forget. But it was nasty. And then here we go. We got next question, and I'm gonna have the written review on the website cypherspit.com sometime eventually. I'm gonna try to get to it tonight. I got a little bit of energy, and I got some coffee, so we'll see if I can be up to like 4 in the morning. All right, how well did the movie handle character development? Were the characters compelling? Were they well-rounded? Were they one-dimensional? Were they stereotypical? Well, here are my thoughts. I think they were all no names, and outside of Tobin Bell, nobody really stood out or got any character development. Yeah, they showed Amanda, and it kind of like hinted that she might be a little bit not wanting to do what Saul wants to do, or Jigsaw, because they were like debating on whether or not they should just wreck somebody. Actually, they weren't really debating. Amanda was like, oh, this person don't deserve no chance, just kill her. Why are you letting her even get a chance to escape? And then John Kramer has to say, oh, but I gave you a chance to escape. And that's a little bit of spoiler, but it's not really, because again, this movie's a prequel, so all that stuff you guys already know. Amanda was part of the reason why John started acting the way he was acting. This says, what are some of the movie's strengths and weaknesses? I thought the movie was fine as it is. So, I mean, I could put that here if you want. The movie was fine. Strengths and weaknesses, it was fine. It's nothing that I could really say that I would add or take away. This one's really funny. All right, so here, let me put the whole question in so you guys can read it. So how did the movie compare to others in its genre or to other movies you've seen recently? All right, so here's my thoughts. I think the movie holds up pretty well. I personally like Evil Dead Rise better because that was less gory and more horror, more scary. So I like that better than just the gore element of it. I like a little bit of gore, but I don't know, this one was too realistic, so it was just, I don't know, man, it made me a little uncomfortable. I'm sorry, I'm a little punk. Scream 6 though was on a sense of being, because that movie was just extra. It wasn't just a horror movie, it was like horror comedy satire. So, and the Scream killer, I forget what his name, Ghostface killer, was just doing all the motions like, I'm not like anybody you've ever killed before. I just like that movie was really good. And then I'm going to say this was way better, like far and away better than this year's The Pope's Exorcist with what's his name, Russell Crowe. The area, you must come into the area. That's Russell Crowe's accent from Thor Love and Thunder that he then used in The Pope's Exorcist. So I'm going to say that movie was just that sound. It was sorry, Pope's Exorcist. Sorry, Russell Crowe. You know I like you, but that movie was kind of boring. It was kind of boring. It doesn't help that I fell asleep on it, so that might be why. It's only towards the end. I was very tired. All right, what impact do I think the movie's gonna have on its intended audience? So funny thing about the audience, at my screening, they skewed kind of young. I had some older people there. I had some people that were mostly younger. At least they looked like it. I don't really think I've seen a lot of people my age there. So I think they're going to think it was just okay. Because the one guy with his date was like, do I really want to stay to see this bonus scene at the end? And they did, but it was like nobody else really did. All right, so I think this is a good film if you're streaming. For real, this is going to go great on streaming. If you're a big fan, obviously add it to your collection. But if you're not a big fan, you're going to be like, catch it on streaming. All right, final score. What do I give it? It's mid. There we go. 7 out of 10. Even though I know people will be like, oh, but what, isn't Midway 5 out of 10? No. American grading system. If you scored 50% on the quiz, you failed. You only got half the knowledge. You got to score 70 or higher. It really 65 to get a D. But no, this was a 7. 7 out of 10. So 6 out of 10 is okay. And then 6.5 would be like, oh, it's a little bit better than okay. Wait, hold on. Am I doing that right? Let me read this damn scale again. IGN review scale, help me out. Oh yeah, and then 7 is good. I think this movie was good. As much as disgusting as I found it, 7 out of 10, it was good. It wasn't better than good. It wasn't slightly better than good, and it wasn't slightly worse than good. This was a solid 7 out of 10. It was good. So don't. First of all, people, here's where the scales go. It really starts 6 and up. Everything under 6 is like, we're getting some bad things here. I think 65 I might have gave a 5. It was mediocre. But that's anything 5 and under is bad. 6 and up is still worth seeing. So don't think just because a movie gets a 6 from me it's not worth seeing, because that just means it's okay. If it's 5, shoot, that might even be okay to see too. But a mediocre just not doing nothing new. It's just bland. So let me see, what's the 4? 4 is bad. Yeah, anything 4 and under you don't want to see. 5 and up you should still give a chance to see, because that might be your cup of tea. It's just not my cup of tea. Like, I saw a trailer for Napoleon that has what's the guy that plays Joker? Y'all remember the guy that plays Joker? I don't remember his name, but it had Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix. It has Joaquin Phoenix in it, and I'm like, not gonna see that. That looks boring, but it's probably gonna be a good film. But to me, it just looks boring. You know, I did like that I like that the movie with Matt Damon and what's his friend name? Who cares? It was the movie that just came out last year with Adam Driver, Matt Damon, and Ben Affleck. And it was the movie. It was like the first conflict. Who cares? I watch a lot of movies. That movie was good. I like that movie. It was a boring movie, but I enjoyed it. All right, so now let me give you final thoughts. I already went over these notes, but really, here we go. Well, I ran over some of these notes, but let me go through them really quick. Actually, let me copy and paste it in there. That way it's look like I'm typing something. Doing a lot less typing on this one. This one's I've come prepared with just reading, so that way it's easier. It's easier for me, because if I'm sitting there typing it on your ears, I'm gonna hit the wrong buttons. It's gonna be clickety clackety. All right, so here we go. So this film, at first, the first trap, it was getting on my nerves because I didn't know it was gonna be that loud, because I didn't go to an IMAX showing. So I was just annoyed, and I was like, this whole turning the volume up loud and twisting the camera around, because the camera was so hype, spinning around. He's all like, get me out of here. And then the camera's all twisting around on the 360. I was like, I don't like this. This is old. Y'all been doing this since the early 2000s. This camera is like the film's hype man. Like, oh, yeah. I didn't like it at first. Then it was like, okay, it's okay. They calmed down a bit. John Kramer is a funny little scene. John Kramer described himself as like a life coach, and that was funny because there's like, oh, what do you do for a living? He's like, oh, I help people, and he's like, oh, you're like a life coach. He's like, yeah, something like that. So I thought that was funny. Spoiler, but not really. The music and sound effects were good. Like I said, we already talked about that. The traps were gross and gory and creative though, but definitely gross and gory. This was hard to watch for sure. If you got a weak stomach, this is definitely hard to watch. I did like the use of quick flashbacks, because I know I was talking about the Expendables and I didn't like their flashbacks took forever to show up, but this one had a quick flashback of like, hey, this is why this character is important. You saw this character here, because again, they're all no names, so they're not recognizable. So I really enjoyed that. Maybe I have a short attention span and wasn't paying attention, but nonetheless, I appreciated the use of those quick flashbacks, because it was really hard to keep up with these no names. Sorry. This movie really gave John Kramer a chance to shine. He had a lot of talking scenes. He wasn't just stuck in the wheelchair. Like, we get to see him moving around, so it was good. This movie is, that's a cuss word. Any other cuss words right there? Sorry for leaving that in there. This movie was nasty. I hate it. And I don't know who was squirming more, the camera or me. Because like I told you, the camera was just all hype, moving around, and it was so embarrassing. I was sitting right in front of, I don't know why these little young kids gonna sit behind me, all just after this gonna kick my chair. They was kicking it a little bit, but it wasn't like crazy where I need to turn around and be like, yo, you guys kicking my chair. But they was probably squirming too. But I'm sitting there like squirming, leg, grabbing my leg. It was nasty. It was just crazy. And then there was a very nice third act twist. I'm not telling you nothing. You don't get no spoilers from me. But I really enjoy that these movies are known for their third act twist. And I know movies is spelled terribly wrong, but it is what it is. And like I said, a lot more younger kids came out to my showing than I would have expected. All right, so those are my quick thoughts. See, it helps to have everything written down, because where are we at? 30 minutes? Oh, I'm surprised I'm still at 30 minutes. I thought it was going to be done sooner. All right, well, those are my quick thoughts on Saw X. Actually, those aren't quick at all. That's my review for Saw X. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Or what is the thing I say? Okay, love you, bye. I forgot how these outros go, but just, thank you for the support. If you're watching this, I really do appreciate it. And hopefully I can get like an edited version of a review on the channel sometime soon. Probably not, because this month is just a very busy month for me. I do apologize, but I hope you like these live streams. I've been having fun with them because I get to just talk and ramble, and I really like talking and rambling to you guys. And I don't have to worry about trying to make things perfect and like, oh, stick to the script, or oh, get this delivery right. In a world where John Kramer is still somehow alive, he's back, baby. Can this movie top the Saw that had Chris Rock, or is this movie dying in its own death trap? Let's find out. See, like, you got to get that perfect, and that was just off the top of the head. That will not make it into the final cut because I don't even remember what I just said. Just freestyling. I'm rambling again. Okay, see you guys.